This is an intro to inequalities. We're going to discuss the inequality symbols, how to read the expressions, how to graph, and how to solve. So to start, we need to discuss the inequality symbols themselves. So this top one means less than, and then we've got greater than, and then the symbol that is less than and has a bar underneath, that's like half of an equal sign, so that's less than or equal to. And then you've got the greater than symbol on top with an equal bar on the bottom. So that is greater than or equal to. There are a lot of ways that students try to remember what's what. And a lot of you are probably used to hearing if you have an alligator mouth. So if these are the teeth, it's always eating the bigger number. So it's facing the larger number. So with less than, that would mean, so if you have a number 5, it's less than the bigger number 8. Or if you look at the next one, if you have 10 is greater than 2. So notice the alligator mouth is facing the larger number. Okay, so reading inequalities, this top one, X, and then you have a symbol in 5. And remember the alligator is eating the larger, so that means X is larger than 5, so X is greater than 5. Y looks like the mouth is opening to the -2, so Y is not greater than -2, -2 is greater. So you would read that as Y is less than, and then you have that bar underneath, so Y is less than or equal to -2. Z would be greater than or equal to 11. And then your last one, W is less than -4. Now we're going to talk about graphing inequalities. So to start, you're going to put the number that is in your inequality right in the middle of your number line, and then add a couple more numbers so you know which direction the numbers are increasing or decreasing. So just like a number line on, or just like a grid, an axis on an X and Y grid, the numbers are smaller on the left and they gradually grow as you go to the right. So I'm just going to add a couple numbers in there so I know what's less, what's greater. And then I'm going to put a circle at the number. What decides if it is open or closed? Open means empty, closed means filled in, will be the inequality symbol itself. So since this says X is greater than 5, that means X is not allowed to be 5, but it can be everything greater than. So it could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 5.1. So it's going to be everything in this direction. So you shade that direction. But do not close the circle over 5 because X is not allowed to be 5. Moving on to this next one. Y is less than or equal to -2. So I know I need to start with a -2. And then a number less than -2 would be -3. A number greater than -2 would be -1. Put a circle over the -2. Y is allowed to be -2 because it's less than or equal to -2. So this is where you have a closed circle. And then you shade in the direction. So Y is less than, well, the numbers that are less than -2 are to the left. So you shade in this direction. Okay. Z is greater than or equal to 11. So start with 11. Add a couple numbers in. 10 is less than, 12 is greater than 11. Put your circle at 11. Now decide, is Z allowed to be 11? Z is greater than or equal to 11. So I am allowed to close that circle. And then one trick, if your variable is on the left side, your inequality symbol actually points in the direction of your shading. So without me even really reading this out loud, I know my inequality symbol, arrow kind of, if you want to look at it that way, is pointing to the right. So I know my shading goes to the right. This only works if your variable is on the left side. If it's on the right side, it's not going to work that way. Okay, so then this last one, we've got W is less than -1. So go down to my number line, put a -1, and then a number greater than it, a number less than it, put a circle over it, and then decide, is this open or closed? Since x can't be -1, it's open, but it's everything greater than, so it goes in this direction. Okay, this next one, add 4 to both sides. And we've got x is greater than or equal to 12. 12, 13, and 11. Greater than or equal to 12, so it's allowed to be 12. And anything bigger than 12. 13 is bigger than 12, so I know it's going to go in this direction. And then you can also look at the inequality symbol. Notice that it's pointing in that direction. Okay, last ones. I need to actually fix this one. So negative 3x is less than or equal to 12. So I would divide both sides by -3. And here is the only time that you are going to do something differently than you would with equations. This is going to give me x. On this side, it's going to give me -4. But when you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. So what was less than or equal to is now greater than or equal to. So the signs have to flip. So notice it started and then it flipped. That only happens when you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number. That's the only difference between equations and inequalities. So then it all is the same from here. Open circle. I'm going to look at my new inequality symbol, greater than or equal to, so now it's closed. Greater than goes to the right. Do not look at your original inequality symbol. Look at your new one that you flipped. So remember, flip sign when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay, last one. Erase all my markings here. I've got x over 2 is greater than or equal to -7. Multiply both sides by 2. I am not multiplying by a negative, so I don't have to do any flipping. The 2's go away. X is greater than or equal to -14. Do not flip unless you are multiplying or dividing by a negative. I am multiplying both sides by a positive. Just because this is -14 does not mean I flip. So -14, -15, -13. Put my open circle, then check. Greater than or equal to, so it's closed. And greater than, -13 is greater than -14, so it goes in this direction. This right here is probably one of the most important things. I'll circle it in green. You need to write that down into your notes.